Justin Gaethje. Talk about showing up at the highest level at the biggest moments when the lights are the absolute brightest. I mean, man, he brought it. 100%. He brought it. That was a legendary performance. Okay, no exaggeration. That was one of the best performances that I think I've ever seen, considering the level of competition that he was facing. I mean, first of all, it was just a beautiful fight. The fight that he fought was absolutely beautiful. And then on top of it, when you consider the fact that he did it against Tony Ferguson, the boogeyman in the division, even more impressive, right? I mean, he came out there and he did everything right. Well, not 100% of things right. Obviously, there were a few flaws here and there. But the leg kicks that he landed, just chopping at the legs, nasty. The right hand, there was like a laser beam. Even that left hook that he was shooting. Now, I knew the right hand was going to land. You can go back, you can watch the video that I made. I actually was leaning towards him a little bit in the fight. I thought he was going to be able to get that knockout. I knew that right hand was just going to be ferocious. I mean, it's what he's done the majority of his damage with in the past. And Tony Ferguson, I mean, one of the things that people don't talk about is he's actually very hittable. I mean, now you saw what he did last night, but even prior to that, I mean, he backs out straight up sometimes, doesn't move his head off the center line. When he comes in, his chin's kind of up a little bit. So I knew that Gaethje was going to be able to connect with that right hand. I knew he was going to get it over the top. I knew he was going to get it shooting it straight down the middle. And I knew that he was going to be able to get it with an uppercut on occasion. So I wasn't worried about that. I also knew that he was going to be able to land that leg kick. I didn't realize he was going to be able to land that left hook as much as he was. Man, and I definitely didn't realize that he was going to be able to land it as ferociously as he did. Because that thing had some fire coming off of it when he threw it. I mean, he was putting everything into that. They were out there just slinging leather. So, what a performance, though. What a performance. I mean, it was to the point where I thought that Tony's corner probably should have stopped it after the fourth round, going into the fifth. Because, I mean, here's the thing. He was taking just a brutal beating, right? I mean, those punches that he was taking, those were hard shots, and they were landing all night, and they were landing so clean. I mean, Tony was to the point where he was even flinching, expecting that counter. I mean, that's bad when a fighter, he's getting hit so hard, so much, so clean, that it's starting to change his habits to that point in there. It was getting to the point where it was starting to get a little bit hard to watch because I'm a big Tony fan, and I just didn't like to see him taking that much punishment. I mean, I know a lot of fighters, historically, you look at boxers, and they're not doing good, man. They took way too many blows, and they got hurt. I mean, let's think of the two of the biggest icons in the game from boxing, Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Robinson. How did they look later on in life? Right? Things weren't good for him. It's very easy in this sport to take too much punishment, particularly when you're as tough as a guy like Tony Ferguson. I mean, that guy's made of steel. Did you see those shots he was taking? And at the end of it, he still didn't drop. I mean, he still didn't get KO'd. The ref had to jump in to save him, literally, to save the man from himself. My hat's off to him. They don't make him tougher than Tony Ferguson, but I would have liked to see his corner and jump in a little bit earlier. I hope he takes a lot of time off to recover. I hope he comes back better than ever. I mean, I really do. I've been a fan of his forever. He's an amazing fighter. I think he's still got definitely a lot left in the gas tank, not suggesting anything else, but I do think he needs to take a little bit of time off and recuperate because that was a hell of a beating that he took last night. So, and then as far as Justin Gaethje, I mean, the way he fought last night, I mean, the sky's the limit. Don't get me wrong, he fights Khabib, it's going to be different. Obviously, Khabib's going to threaten with the takedowns and the grappling and everything else. Completely different fight. He is a D1 wrestler, though. He was an All-American D1 wrestler. But that's striking. We've never seen Khabib strike anything even in the same stratosphere as that striking clinic that Justin Gaethje put on last night. His control of distance, his understanding of timing, the way he was changing the speed of his punches, the way he's coming over the top, shooting to the body. I mean, the leg kicks that he was getting off, the combinations, the jab, even the jab was beautiful. That's what he ended up ending the fight with, was a jab. I mean, he was firing on all cylinders 100%. Amazing performance. I was just happy to see it live, man, to be perfectly honest with you. I was just happy to see it. So, he said he's ready like September, October for Khabib. Khabib should be ready too. I know he's coming off of Ramadan, and then he's got to wait a little while, he said, to recuperate, and then he's got, he goes into his training camp. But September, October should be an awesome time frame. He'll be off a lockdown and everything, so he'll be able to come out, whether the fight's in Florida or Fight Island or wherever they end up having that thing. I mean, either way. On the one hand, heartbroken. We don't get to see Tony versus Khabib. 5 times the fight got scrapped and we still don't get to see it. Now we don't know if we ever will. On the other hand, man, I couldn't be more excited to see Gaethje versus Khabib. So, either way, we're going to see the absolute top of the heap at 155 getting in there towards the end of this year and mixing it up. And as a fight fan, there's just nothing more that you could ask for. So, absolutely amazing, legendary performance by Justin Gaethje. Those phrases are overused a little bit too much, but I think they describe that performance that he put on last night pretty good, because that was something else.